Hey guys, so today I want to share with you one of the craziest things that ever happened to me while solo traveling, and honestly, it still feels a bit surreal. I've been working as an international dancer across India for a while, moving from city to city, and just soaking up all the experiences this adventurous, chaotic country has to offer. Sometimes working at 2 weddings in one day, no sleep. Once I ended up at a private yoga retreat, just chilling in some remote village with crazy old French beekeeper, couple from Colombia, Russian single mom of little kids, and Russian hippie who ended up in Indian prison a few years later. But this is a different story. So when I met some other Russian guy with his girlfriend, we clicked instantly. So they invited me to travel with them to North Goa, and I thought, why not? I've been to Goa before, lots of times actually, always as a solo traveler. I knew the place, loved the beaches and the amazing fresh smoothies. Port wine for 40 rupees and you shit all day. But this time was different. They introduced me to their Indian friend. Let's call him Raj. He seemed really welcoming and offered me a place to stay. He said he had a flat he used only during the day and that I could crash there. It sounded convenient and safe, especially since I was with friends. At first, everything seemed fine, but over time I started noticing some weird stuff. Raj was tense, but every time I asked him if he's okay, he just smiled and brushed it off. What didn't add up was his lifestyle. He always had lots of cash. He'd pay for meals, not just for himself, but for all of us. And yet his job, apparently he made sandwiches for local shops and did the occasional massage. I mean, come on, something clearly wasn't adding up, but none of us pushed it too far. Then one night we all went to a beachside restaurant in Arambol that belonged to one of Raj's friends. We were just hanging out, having a nice evening, and Raj said he was going to buy some fish for our dinner from the local market and be back in a couple of hours. He left and he just didn't come back. The whole night passed. The next morning, still nothing. And the worst part is probably he had the only key to the apartment we were all staying in, including my and the Russian couple stuff. My passport, my money, all of it was locked inside. We could not get it, we could not reach him, no idea where he was. So we ended up staying at the restaurant's owner's place that night. At this point, I had a flight to catch in 2 days. And I was starting to panic. So we tried to talk to the actual landlord. And that's when we found out that Raj wasn't even the owner of a flat. He was renting it from someone else. So this landlord had a bunch of properties in the area. And when we asked if we could just get our stuff, he refused. Straight up said,
"You have to wait for Raj."
At that point, we brought some friends along who could speak the local language, just to try one more time to get through to the guy. That was a big mistake. When we showed up that evening, the landlord was completely drunk, and he had a group of angry, also drunk local guys with him. The energy turned aggressive fast. They started yelling, claiming we weren't welcome, that we'd been told to leave before, which was a total lie. We'd never ever spoken to those people before. And then they picked up sticks, actual sticks, started threatening us, and I was done being polite. I kicked one of the guys between the legs. I swear I never moved so fast in my life, and I just started running. Full speed through the dark streets of Arambol. My neck has been hit. I was completely shaken, but I didn't cry. Then I saw a car coming. It was a white woman driving through. I literally ran into the middle of the road, hoping she'd stop. She didn't. She looked straight at me and just kept driving. Honestly, I still don't know if she was scared, didn't want to be involved, or just thought I was crazy. Maybe a bit of both. Eventually, I started banging on doors, just hoping someone would help. Finally, a young Indian couple let me in. We locked the door. I asked them to call the police, but they were clearly scared too. They were renting from the same landlord, and they didn't want to get involved. But eventually we made a call. Those angry drunk guys were still shouting and standing on the other side, ready to break in. One remark: usually the local police will always support their own people, so always need to keep that in mind if you have any conflicts or issues in India, especially in places like Goa. Who've been there know what I mean. When the police arrived, I told them everything. Somehow they actually believed me. They broke the lock so I could get into the flat and get my stuff. But condition was not to write a report. But when I went inside, there was some weirdness. There were incense sticks, cash lying around, a statue of an Indian god. Police officers offered me to take money as a compensation for all the stress, I assumed. I asked them if they were sure, and that this looked like some kind of black magic ritual. Maybe money was cursed. They just laughed and said, "No, everything's fine. Take your stuff, go." Then the biggest plot twist ever. The same landlord who hit me with a stick. He carried my suitcase to the hotel like nothing ever happened. Those people changed their mood within a second. The police gave me a ride through the streets of Arambol with their motorbikes. I swear it felt like the whole town is watching. Total movie moment. The next day I ate seafood soup, drank some port wine, bought a bus ticket for 20 rupees, and promised myself I was never coming back to Goa. I did, a couple of years later. Oh, and 6 months later, we found out Raj was actually a drug dealer from Himachal Pradesh, moving stuff down to Goa. That's why he had so much money. That's why he disappeared. He ended up in prison for 2 years. After the whole trip, I went through a rough patch. I don't know if it was cursed money, bad karma, or just life. But it was a weird and hard time. Now everything is good again, and I've learned my lesson. If something feels off, it probably is. So if you are planning to solo travel in India, just be careful. Trust your gut. Don't ignore red flags. Couchsurfing can be great, especially in India, the best hospitality ever. This is my life story that happened during second solo trip to India. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'm gonna see you next week.